Hi. Oh, I'm in my studio today. It is so cold outside. Somewhere around 5 below centigrade, so that's like what, I don't know, 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Cold. My studio was really cold, and I have a bunch of clay, not in the studio, but in part of the barn that's not heated, and I had to move it into my studio today just because I don't want it to freeze, because that's a big mess. But anyway, I opened a bunch of new clay today. Actually, I opened it from its shipping materials that I got when I was in Italy. So I have a new clay, a new for me clay, which is stoneware. So it's going to be really high fired, and it's black stoneware. And before I bought this, when I was in Italy, I ordered it when I was at my house in Italy from an Italian supplier. They didn't have the country of origin on the label on the computer. So I assumed that it was black stoneware clay from Italy. So when I just opened it now, I brought the boxes back with me, and I just opened the boxes now, and I realized that it is black stoneware clay from Spain, which is where almost all black stoneware clay comes from in Europe anyway. So it has a very high firing temperature. The black clay that I've been using in my studio until now has been really quite a low fire product, and that's fine, but I like high fireware because it's water. It's waterproof. It doesn't allow water to go through. It vitrifies. The clay vitrifies because the firing temperature is so high, meaning the glass particles in the clay melt and form a glass-like substance in the ceramic piece. So that's why I really do prefer to use stoneware. So I'm really excited about this. Hang on a second. This is it. It's red right now, so I'll be interested to see how it comes out, and I am using gloves. I have a pretty good success rate of using the gloves with my pottery wheel. They don't really rip or anything, and they keep my hands pretty nice, because this stuff is probably going to be pretty rough on skin. So I'll come back when I'm doing some throwing on the wheel. Well, the first thing I can say about this stuff, it's really messy, that's for sure. It has about 20% grog in it, which is like a sandy grit, which is what helps also stoneware to be stable. It tends to warp if it doesn't have any grit in it at all, any grog in it at all. But man, this stuff is so dirty. Everything will need to be washed after this. I already, after one pot, understand why a lot of potters who work with this clay actually have two wheels, one for lighter clay and one for this, because having to clean up after this would be a real hassle. Okay, so I'm just about got it centered. It's extremely cold, the clay, because I just brought it into the studio from the barn. So it's hard. Hard. Really too hard to be throwing at this point. I should actually just wait till tomorrow, make my life easier, but all right. See how much I can get it centered anyway. It's about 4 pounds of clay. 4.5 if you're American. Those American pounds are smaller than European pounds. Kids, don't do this at home. Or if you do, try to center it better than I'm doing. Okay. Well, that's about as quiet as I'm going to get it today. Let's see how we do here. Okay. That's a start. This is completely covered with clay. Everything is covered with this stuff. I don't know if it's manganese or iron or what it is. I have a feeling it's iron because it's so red. But man, it really shows what was so cold in the center of this clay. This is ridiculous. I don't know why I'm doing this. All right, slow it down a little bit. So right now I've just broken the clay, made a hole. This is going to be a very, very organic bowl, which is really what I want this clay for anyway. I want it to be organic. The forms that I make from it to be organic, so this is a good start. You don't use black stoneware because you like refined pots, or because you want to make refined pots. Then you use porcelain or something else. So this is just right now coming up a little bit. Bring it up a bit. Slow it down on the wheel so that, yeah, there we go. I'm thinning out the walls a little bit. It's actually not bad clay to work with once you get it to this point, but damn, getting it to this point. Like I said, I probably should have waited a day to throw it because it's too cold. When it's cold, it's hard. Cold translates into hard clay, and hard clay is always a hassle to throw. It's always, the softer the clay, the easier it is to throw. Yeah. So thin this out just a little more on the walls. Nice flat black bowl. Actually, it's going to be really pretty. Compressing the bottom so that there's no air bubbles. So there I have it. My first ever black stoneware flat bowl. It's pretty cool. Now, get it off. Take this. Oh my God, what a mess. Let's see how I do getting this thing off the wheel. I don't use bats, which make this process a whole lot easier, but I don't use them. So here's this, moving it off. There we go. There's going to be a lot of trimming to do on this bowl, but however, I have to say, I think it's going to be pretty cool. All right, thanks for watching, and y'all have a good day. Do something nice, make something pretty. Okay, so today was my experimentation day with black clay, which is red, before it gets fired, as you guys saw. And, you know, there was a big lesson today in my work for me. I have been wanting to use this black clay for so long, and, you know, I mean, of course, logically, I know that it's a dirty clay to work with, and et cetera, et cetera. But something interesting happened as I was making the video at the pottery wheel. I felt my entire chest tightening up when I couldn't get the clay to center correctly. I felt like it was sliding on the wheel, and it was gritty, and I didn't really know how to get it into center, and it was getting messier and messier. And yeah, so, you know, normally what I would do is I would just delete that video forever. But there was something there that I wanted to come sort of circle back to, and that is that I really realized just throwing one bowl, that I don't want to throw black clay at all. Now, I realized it at that moment. I've come to the point where I am cued in enough to my own creative emotions and my own emotional intelligence enough to know when something doesn't work, and I know it relatively quickly. So I decided after I'd made that video to clean up, which it you know, took like an hour, because for 5 minutes work, which was one reason why I know I don't want to be throwing with this black clay. But also, number two, where was I? I don't even remember, and I'm not going to go back and redo this video. So, in any event, I realized something else. I know exactly when something works and doesn't work so quickly now, and I was so happy to feel that. So after I stopped doing the video, I thought, okay, so what am I going to do with all this black clay? I mean, I spent the money on it. Do I throw it away now? Do I give it to another potter? What do I do with it? And I decided to do a little bit of hand building with it. I made a couple of cups. I can turn this around and show you. I think I can turn it around and show you. Can I? No, I can't. So those are a couple of pieces that I made hand building. There's the bowl down here. I can see that, that I threw. Now the hand built pieces were just sort of rudimentary experiments for me, and I have a really long way to go with it, but I understand now that this clay is really only for me for hand building. Maybe making jewelry, making really cool sort of organic pots and so on, but not throwing. And that was really a big realization, because the faster you can fail, if you can fail quickly, it'll lead you to the next thing. I wouldn't have gotten to the realization about hand building today had I not gone ahead and done the process of throwing. I had to go through some mess, and I had to realize that's not what I need. You know, I'm not at an age where I can clean the wheel and clean everything so thoroughly every single time I'm in the studio. It's too much work. It's just simply too much work. So I guess what I'm trying to say, long way around, is go and try things, but it doesn't mean that that thing that you're trying is really the thing that you're going to end up doing. But it's the route, it's the path to what you're going to be doing. It's the way you need to learn what works for you and what doesn't work. I'm going to be following this up with sort of like a track of videos on how this black clay experiment works for me and what I feel about it. But I've already named the first pot that I did. I've decided I'm not going to sell it. That one pot that I did on the wheel, I'm going to name it the pathway, because I had to make that pot to see where the pathway would lead. So thank you again for watching, and I hope that you enjoy this, and you can see over my shoulder the beautiful Black Forest sunset that we have right now, which is just utterly amazing. And I wish you happy days and calm days and days of interest and creativity on your path.